I don't know how many times I'd handed over my daughter to my ex-husband, or at the time, and then had to physically restrain her into the car seat. Yeah, because that I didn't know whether he would actually bring her back or not.
Yeah, there were lots of challenges to overcome. There were lots of emotional challenges and lots of emotions that were tied to that.
We started to discuss custody arrangements and things like that, and the emotions came in, and it was tough going. Within a month, it was a nightmare, and all hell broke loose, and he took my 3 boys, and I had to get a recovery order to get them back.
It's a devastating experience, and you desperately want it to be different, and I tried so many things to try and make it different.
We wanted to ensure that we were doing the right thing. You know, in some areas we weren't communicating correctly. I mean, we weren't yelling and screaming at each other, but we certainly weren't communicating.
While the children seemed robust and happy at school, at night time they would come into bed with me every night because they needed the security, and they would just feel so confused about the situation.
Things went quite smoothly up until he started kindy, when we started to have a few disagreements about how long he was spending at different homes.
It was coming to an extent that we could no longer actually do an exchange from a door to door. We tried in a neutral location, and it went from bad to worst as two people trying to fix I guess their own problems in 2 different directions.
The children were being affected, and I wanted it to be different desperately.
Who's really important here and who's got to deal with it as well is the other 3 people outside the agreement that don't have anything, any control over what's going to happen to them.
There was a final event where I had tried to say, no, the children are with me, and he had come and found me in the car and said they're with me, and he grabbed them and put them in the car, and I was crying, and I realised that I just got to that point of surrender where I went, this has got to change, and I was willing to go to any lengths to change it.
Because he hasn't gotten over it, and neither of us have repartnered, and he goes through. I'm unfortunately still a little bit based on how he's feeling. So if he's angry and very short with me when we do drop-offs and pick-ups, I pick that up.
I think rather than feeling unhappy with the agreement we've got now, I'm dealing with and working with what I've got, rather than holding any grudge about what's happened in that agreement.
It refocused my attention back on what was important, which was the children. And in my resentment, I had become the priority. I'd become absorbed in the dispute.
The best thing and the most important thing about finding anger care as a resource is to be able to give yourself permission to put aside all of that anger and resentment, and to put aside all of those personal frustrations and fears, and just focus very much on the welfare of the child and what they're going through, and putting yourself in a position where you're able to best support her or support them through that process.
It takes a while to set up the different houses and the rooms, and once all of that had been set up and there was a routine set up with the shared care, they were able to sort of, I guess, feel normal again in a sense, as much as they can in the circumstances.
The kids are our first priority. You know, they need to go from one house to another house in a safety bubble.
really important to let go of the anger and the attack that you've felt and really concentrate on what's important for the kids.
Having done the KidsAreFirst program, when I was interacting with their dad, and I had this point where I had a choice between feeling powerful or being loving, and I chose being loving, which was such a gift because I started to treat him with respect, which I hadn't done before, and he responded in kind, and we both started to, honour each other.
The program normalised the separation for me, and that helped me to normalise it for my children as well.
It gives you so many tools to deal with children that are going through a breakdown of marriage. It puts it in their eyes. It gives you the tools to understand what you do and say through the breakdown of marriage, right through to, the divorce and all the rest of it, that they'll hopefully come through the other end as at least as a balanced child and balanced adult.
To put all that aside and to put our daughter first and to say, look, we're in this room together, we need to discuss either schooling or friends or custody issues. We need to put her first, and I think that's what both of us were I think we both had that same common goal, was to actually put her first. We have to basically offload our baggage and actually try and move forward and do the right thing by her. And I think she's benefited. It's been great. I think she's got the personality as well, but I think having two parents who can be in the same room together, or two ex-parents, well no, they're still her parents, we're still her parents, but two parents in the same room who we can go to school functions, maybe sit down and discuss or have a coffee or something. We're very amicable, and I think that is just wonderful.